you. I appreciate the invitation. And the reason I'm here is because when I received your materials, and I received them at the office and at home, very good, very good. I read through the entire packet, and I was impressed. And I said, this is exactly what I want to see happening in every neighborhood in the city of Chicago, as mayor. And this is exactly what the mayor of the city of Chicago needs to support aggressively and with a hands-on approach, because it's time. It's time for us to put the neighborhoods first in the city of Chicago. We've done that with downtown for a long, long time. And downtown is just fine. And it's the neighborhood's turn. Now, it goes beyond just being the neighborhood's turn. It's also about fairness, it's about equity, and it's about balanced growth, balanced development in the city of Chicago, so that we can finally reach the point where we can really own up to the title that some have given us as a world-class city. We can't be a world-class city if we don't have world-class neighborhoods. And so we're not there yet. We're far from it. We're far from it. And so here, what we have in Bronxville is probably the best example of how people in the neighborhoods collaborating, individuals, churches, institutions coming together and coming up with a plan that is generated by the neighborhood and presented to the city. And then the city needs, of course, to respond. What you're proposing here is modest. Yes. It's reasonable. It's very reasonable. And it's well crafted. It's beautifully crafted.
Working for 7 years.
Because you've been working for 7 years. And so you know what to do. The question is, what will the city do? What is the city's role in responding to a modest, well-crafted plan that makes all the sense in the world? And I've lived in many neighborhoods in the city of Chicago. I've been here since I was 4 years old. And I lived in Lincoln Park. I lived in Westtown. I lived in Wicker Park. And I lived in a number of communities. And most of them, what they have in common is that when you go to those neighborhoods now, there aren't very many people who look like me or look like you living in those neighborhoods. They aren't there. Development took place, but it was development for other folks, not development for the folks who were living in the neighborhood at the time that the development started. And so we see it played out time and time again in the city of Chicago. And I think what I find most exciting about this is that this could be the final, the moment when we finally say in the city of Chicago that development will be for the people in the neighborhoods that live there. And that it can work, and it will work very well. So yes, it is about the city making commitments. And I'm here today, and I wanted to be here today personally to tell you that 500 lots over a, 4-year period is very reasonable. And you know, I'd like to do more than that. You know, but you're being wise with your approach because you want it to be manageable. You know, I like when you said, you're not going to do the development, but you are going to be in the leadership role managing the overall community development project. And that's the way it should be. And so you want to proceed carefully because we don't want failure and we don't want to experience more difficulties in dealing with our neighborhoods. Because we believe that you have the talent, you have the skills, and you have the ability to be able to put this together and do it in a highly sophisticated manner. And you've already proven that. And so it's time to act. And so I want to see Brownsville held up as an example for other neighborhoods in the city of Chicago. Because if we could do it in Brownsville, we can do it on the west side, and we could do it on the south side of the city of Chicago. Because let me tell you, I stood by a house on Cicero and Jackson the other day to make the point that we have banks who are foreclosing on properties and then walking away from those properties and leaving them abandoned and unsecured and allowing them to deteriorate and then turning into vacant lots. As a matter of fact, a couple of days after I stood in front of the property, the city tore the property down. Another empty lot. And so we need this plan. We need you to be an example for the rest of the city and to inspire neighborhood development throughout the city of Chicago. And that's why I want to work with you.
And thank you so much.